Hello, everyone. I'm going to address a large topic today. We might have to break it down into a couple of different videos, but I wanted to talk about driving when disabled. So you might say, well, I'm in a wheelchair, at least I can't drive. And that's not true. A lot of people, have the need to drive, especially if they live alone or with, little support, or they have a job, you know, and they need reliable transportation, or they just want to drive. It doesn't have to be for any special reason. So, and that's the track I'm in. So, just move this a little bit. There we go. Okay. So, driving. What is the process if you've never driven, or you have driven but now you have the disability and are using a wheelchair? So, this is the process I'm in. The doctors are evaluating me to see if I would qualify and to see if to make sure that I'm healthy enough to drive safely. So, and that's where I'm at. So, the process will go for me. It will go from the doctor's approval to the person who's going to train me how to drive with hand gears, to that being faxed over to the Department of Vehicles, Motor and Vehicles. So, and then they will test me to make sure that I can drive based on their satisfaction and their criteria. So, do a lot of people want me driving? No, some people don't want me driving at all. Guess what? I don't care. I think that up here, I'm all there, but my feet don't work very well. So they just said I had to drive with hand gears. Okay, fine. I'll get the training. So that's all set up, and we'll see how it goes. So that might be the route here in the United States. That is probably the best route for you in whatever state you're in. To get the permission from the doctor, go to someone who can really train you well on hand gears, and then go and make an appointment with the Department of Motor Vehicles and have them, assess you as a final. And then if you pass, then great, you got your license, and they'll put a restriction on your license, with hand gears and all that kind of stuff. So, so those are the steps. I don't know what the steps would be in other countries, but it's probably similar. If you have a structure of Department of Motor Vehicles, or if you have a vehicle department that wants to know, can you drive safely with hand gears? So, and that's really important. So write those steps down if you're really interested in tackling this driving question for yourself. If it's really nagging you, explore it. Talk to your primary care doctor, talk to your neurologist, and see where it goes. If they say no, then try to do your best to understand why, they would say no. The other thing, I think, let's say you're a person who has gotten all the approvals, and you have your car, and you're ready to do that, and to start driving. There are a few things that you need to figure out, once you start driving. A place where you can gas up and you don't have to get out of the car, that an attendant will come out and fill up your tank for you. The one thing is, it's important throughout the United States for you to know that they cannot charge you more for gas than a regular person. So the cost would be the same. So they can't charge you more than the $3 or the $2.90 or whatever the gas is. So just know your rights, okay? So that's really important. Figure out a mechanic. If you have, let's say you got really excited and you bought some hand gears and you want to get them installed. Now that's really important because you've got to go to a mechanic who really knows about this stuff and really understands hand gears and installing them correctly in a car. You just can't go to a regular mechanic. So post-it note on that, okay? So if you have the hand gears or you just want to go to a mechanic who is specialized, in hand gears and cars for the disabled, then go to that mechanic and no other, because you don't want that installed incorrectly. You really don't. You don't want to be in the middle of traffic and for the hand gears to slip off the system. So that's really important. So there's a little bit of research that you might have to do to find a mechanic that really knows his stuff for the disabled. Let's see, what other, for the car itself, yeah, find a good mechanic who understands your needs and understands what to check in the vehicle and does all that and doesn't take advantage of you. One thing. Second thing is find a gas station that is, that, the attendant will come out and help you fill up the tank and clean your windows and stuff like that. Go and find, where you can get your car washed. You don't have to get out of the vehicle. Well, if you had to get out of the vehicle, not a big deal, but, sometimes it's just best if you can stay in, I suppose. So you have to find those little details that's going to work for you. If you have somebody who's going to help you maintain the car, great. But if you don't, then you need to find those areas and people who you will be able to trust with your vehicle and to check everything and understands your needs, and if they can wash your car while the mechanic finishes up, that would be awesome. There are some mechanic garages where they will wash your car once they're done. So that might be an answer. I think once you're in the vehicle, if you were ever in an accident for whatever reason, which you don't want to be in, nobody wants to, but if that happened, I think that the wheelchair would be a giveaway. But if somebody, misses that little detail, like there was a wheelchair in the back seat or there was a wheelchair next to you, and they missed that detail, it might be good to have a bracelet or something. I have a medical bracelet myself. So once I start driving, well, it's there. So they can look it up and figure out what's going on. But, they want to make sure that there's a bee going through past the window. It's very big. So to make sure that if you ever were in an accident, that they would know you're disabled and to be careful and gentle with you. That is all I had. I know there's a lot more on this topic. So, safety, people you trust, a gas station, someone who can train you on the hand gears, a mechanic who can install it appropriately, who knows his stuff or her stuff, and a good vehicle, that you can trust. So any questions? If you are a person with a disability who already drives, put down your comments and your recommendations so that other future disabled drivers can take a look and make a list of things that you need to, or they need to, or we need to look into before we start driving, so that we have everything we need at hand. So I'm hoping that this is helpful. I'm sure I'll put something down again in this type of video as I go along and I learn. So have a good day, and I will see you next week.